Following on to and filling out last week's topic about how we're wired at birth, have you noticed that once you start to look inward at your foibles, we discover how irksome that wiring can be, illuminating how defective we are. However, that wiring also turns out to be our superpower, that spark that incites our passion to get us where we want to go. Returning to my original dilemma, I had a sudden blow-up with a close friend, followed immediately by a shame attack. Any sudden blow-up is an overreaction to the situation. When I overreact, I know that my stuff just got hit. Such a trigger is a surefire indicator that my shadow, something that my wiring that I am uniquely blind to, I've just spotted with laser-like vision in the troublesome person that set me off. They are at fault. I'm not like that. Oh yeah? Then why am I upset? They are a mirror for me. As within, so without. As you may recall, my guides gently suggested that I may have fallen prey to a rather common malady, also known as wanting to be the best. Closely related is knowing best. Sure enough, I can think of 3 people, all dear to me, that periodically have set me off. And what do you know? They're all rather steadfast in insisting their way is the way things must be. Not an hour after I detonated, as an exclamation point to prod me to look to myself as the true culprit, Kevin, totally out of character, maybe for the first time ever, blew up at me. Kevin and I were in the car together discussing some political point. Kevin said, "Well, if the Democrats," and I instantly responded with a roll of the eyes and a dismissive, ugh. He barked, "Fine. Don't listen to what I have to say. You know everything. You have all the answers." Then he apologized that he'd lost it. But he was absolutely right. My belief is that there is nothing our current political polarization can fix. It's like a Band-Aid on a bomb. As Einstein said, no problem can be solved at the consciousness level that created it. We need a consciousness shift as a species before real change can occur. Kevin hit the nail on the head. I believe I do know best, and no other opinion is worth considering, at least in this circumstance. The person that set me off has an arrogant tone to her voice. She gets my back up with her know-it-all demeanor and dismissive rudeness to what I and others have to say. Many people aren't annoyed in the slightest by her manner. It slides right over them without sticking. Why? The friction is obvious with me because I can be just the same way. I certainly was with Kevin. Another friend that I used to work for mirrors this shadow in a different form. He's slow and methodical in his thinking and insists on talking things through multiple times, wasting time that could be used to get things done, in my opinion. I usually reach decisions very quickly, granted sometimes too quickly. So in meetings, I make a point to be organized and get to the point as soon as possible. The more he meanders, the more impatient and short and bottom line I become. But because I worked for him, I put a few time limits in place, but then grudgingly capitulated most of the time. The third friend is sweet as pie, a dedicated, hardworking guy, seemingly easygoing and considerate. He asks for input, but if it's not what he wants, he pauses, asks haltingly if that's really what we think is best, suggesting what might be better, obviously trying to steer us to his way of thinking. But if push comes to shove and he really wants it, he will insist. This is closer to my manner. I aim to be accommodating and open, but then resort to mild manipulation if needed. Once I felt very strongly about how a display we were constructing should look. And he felt strongly too, but in a different direction. I let it go because he initiated the project, and in the long run, who cares? But dang it, it was hard. A trigger is an engraved invitation to greater self-understanding. Encouragement to look in the mirror that the situation is showing me, to identify my upset and see how it's manifesting in someone else and how it reflects back something to me that has come up for my healing. It's some form of fear I'm projecting onto somebody else that is begging for transformation to love. Am I healed of these 3 related reflections showing me my insistence that I know best? Nope, still working on it, but aware and taking steps, and the upsets are fewer, shorter, and of less intensity. Making progress. Triggers provide excellent clues to what I need to work on to shine that divine.